looking at path transformer, and this is pretty cool, pretty powerful. Um, we'll first look at this example here. So what path transformer does is allows you to shift, move, scale, rotate, flip your motion paths. So this only works with layers that have keyframes on their property, their position property. Um, right now, they don't work with separated dimensions. They do not work with parented layers. Although I've got these three parented. Um, let me apply it so you can see what's happening is we've got this animation. All right. But what's awkward is the text appears too high up from the um, graphics, the burgers. So I want to move all the burgers further up at about here. Okay. Now, if the property, the position property were all at the same time, I can just scrub the Y value, but they've been staggered using the keyframe orchestrator. All right, so I would have to move them one at a time. Another option is to parent them to a null temporarily, and then push up the null. And then it's a bit of a hassle. You have to create the null, parent it, and then delete the null. And then if you need to do a little bit more adjustments, then you got to go through the entire process again. So I'm going to remove this actually. And let's move it up. But before I do, I need to know where it is. So I'm going to use a guide layer. So thereabouts. So I'm going to adjust my position. I'm going to bring it up so it has to be negative, and then click on transform. Yeah, I had a bit of technical issues. So the alt click and shift click in the numeric input fields do not work for this script. Let's see now. Alright, I've shifted them up. Unfortunately now you can see them. It's actually okay for the first frame, but I just want to show you if all the keyframes are at the same point in time and all the layers are selected, I can just scrub the value and they will all move, all the layers will move downwards. Alright, so that's a relative adjustment. Right, so it looks better. So that's one good stuff about this. And then if you change the value, you want it negative, just click here. So it goes negative, positive. Sometimes you want to reset what you've done. That's one option. Of course, it doesn't work with scale. You can rotate your path. And this works with 3D layers also. Alright. The 10x is this. It maxes out at 200, but sometimes you need to go higher than 200. So you enable this, and then your slider minimum and maximum values will remap so that you can go up to a maximum of 2000. So that's what the 10x does. Alright. Essentially remaps the slider values. Now we're going to look at another example, and this one's really useful. So what I've got here is a motion path. You can see it's just a circle, perfect circle. I actually drew a mask, copied the mask path and pasted it into the position property. And then on an adjustment layer, I've applied the right on. I've renamed it C so that the C references this layer with the letter C at the end, the suffix. It's also got an expression. This part is not related to the script, but it's a way to show you how to use reproducible expressions. I have a blog post on it. It's a lot of a superpower thing um, for you to know how to use. So I'll drop that link there so you can learn a bit how to create reproducible code or reproducible expressions. So this thing goes around. Now I'm going to mess about with scale. I'm going to set this to 50%, and then I'm going to duplicate. All right. I'm going to come here. I'm going to duplicate this also. Now what my expression here does is it automatically grabs the position of a layer which has the name white solid 31. I think I need to do this. Yep. Oops. Yeah. So whatever the suffix is here, in this case the suffix is C2. So it's going to grab the suffix C2 here also. Alright. And now I'm going to set, well, I've already set the scale to 50%. I've just not applied it. So I'm going to apply. What it's going to do is going to resize this motion path to 50% of what it is now. Now when you scale, there is an anchor or a pivot point. So we're going to pick it here. And I'm going to pick, let's see, I want it to be at the top. So I'm clicking here. And that's the top. So that's the first keyframe. So I'm going to choose my first position keyframe as my pivot point. Alright, so that means when I scale this motion path, it's going to keep that shape, but reduce it by 50% in size, and then it's going to be anchored there. So too much talking, I will select my layer, it's this guy, and then I'll apply. So as you can see, this guy has now been, its motion path has been scaled down by 50% from its original, which is the larger circle here or ellipse, and anchored at that point there. So now I can have this animation. Alright. So you can rotate stuff. Let's duplicate this guy. I need to duplicate the right on. So again, automatically using reproducible code or reproducible expressions will automatically pick up this layer's motion path. Right, I'm going to rotate this. Let's reset properties. And then for rotate, I'm going to pick again the first position keyframe. Is this guy here. Now I'm going to rotate it. Let's try minus 45. Let's see where that goes. So if I compare, this is the one that's been rotated minus 45 degrees from its original, which is this guy. So let's see what it looks like now. Alright, so I hope you see what's happening. You can build some pretty cool, interesting animations, especially if you're doing brand rollouts and stuff. A little bit of eye candy. I think I've got one more example. Whoops, not here. Ah, just another example. Alright, what's nice about the path transformer is everything is mathematical. Alright, mathematically perfect. Let's pick this one and we'll do a flip. Okay. I've got to change the name. I'm going to call it CF1 or centered flip 1. And I'm going to duplicate this guy. What do we name it? Make sure that the suffix references this guy here. Okay, now we're going to do a flip up, down, and whether it goes up or down or left or right depends on your flip around or your pivot point. I want to flip here, so it will be the path bottom edge. When you pick bottom edge, it, I think, intelligently picks down. All right, so let's do that. As you can see, there it is now. All right. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to shift everything up. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, and then I'm going to scale things by, let's try 75% please. Ooh, this guy got lost because I needed to center it, so I'm going to undo. Alright, I don't know if this works, let's try. Actually no, I don't think this will work. I think I have to, because this is for a single layer, I'm trying to do it for all layers. So for this, I think a nested composition is a better option. I think if I wanted to push this, I could do this for on an adjustment layer, and then I don't need this, right? I just create an adjustment layer, put the transform effect on top, and then scale that. Although this may be cut off, I'm not too sure, unless I make the adjustment layer pretty huge. But let's not overcomplicate just yet. That's something you can experiment on your own. Okay, so that's that for path transformer. Right? Any questions? Drop question there and I'll try to help you out. Okay, cheers.